Alright, hi kawan, welcome to EDCReady. Today I am going to be taking apart the newly bought Ruike P801 SF satin finish. So I just recorded the unboxing and that should have been out already by now. So now I just want to see if I can improve this action a little bit. I'm seeing a few things. Number one is that it doesn't fall shut, so that could mean that it lacks certain lubricants, and then the actual lubricant that they use seems to be some form of white grease. Not sure what that is, but I think we can clean it out, maybe improve the action a little bit here. First impressions, just to remind you guys how the unboxing went. It's great, you know, it feels nice and dense, but at the same time it feels very small in the hand for the size of the blade that you get, and it also flips open very nicely. But why is that? It's probably because it has some ball bearing, oh, what am I saying? Why it flips out well is because it has ball bearing pivots. Yeah, I know that. Okay, let's just take the knife apart. Okay, that's a good sign. So sometimes from different makers you might have some Loctite. In this case, as you can see here, there is no Loctite at all, and that is just great. Let's move on. So that was T8 to take off the pivot. Let's open up this screw here, and it opens up quite well. Alright. Okay, and then the last screw here. And as you can hear, it clicked open, and then this came up. This is the stop pin right here. Put that there, and it opens up easy as pie. So as you can see here, they did use some form of grease here, if my camera will focus. Sorry guys, I'm trying out a different camera for my videos, so if it's not good, I'm just going to switch back to my old camera. As you can see here, they use a bunch of grease, which is why it's a little bit sticky. And as you can see in the construction here, it looks fine. No, nothing major. Everything seems well and rounded, well and chamfered. So yeah, great, nothing to complain about really. So next up, let's take out everything here. Alright, see if we can push this out. Okay, as you can see here, this is a D-shaped pivot. The D shape goes in here like so. See, there's a little D shape here, so it only really go in one angle, which is that angle, which is great. So that would mean that this does not spin freely, so you don't need tools on both sides to go in to unscrew it. We need tools on one side, which is great because even a big company like Zero Tolerance doesn't do this all the time. But you have these budget Chinese companies that, well, does really well, and I'm really happy for that. Alright, so I'm just using a microfiber cloth to clean up all the insides right here. That's good. One thing I like about this knife is just how simple it is. Right? It's simple to take apart, simple to clean, simple to disassemble and reassemble, and I like that because my only other flipper knife, which is my QSP Deva, is actually it can get a little bit complicated if you want to take out the whole thing. Granted, it does have more tools in the knife, but sometimes you just need something that's a little bit less of a headache. Alright, and let's clean up the ball bearings right here. Alright, that's great. Black coated, and then you have the actual silver ball bearings right there, if my camera will focus. Okay, so it looks like I'm gonna change up this camera, in the next videos, because it's really annoying me how it is not maintaining focus quite well. And that's done. Alright, so we have here the detent ball hole right here, where the detent in this lock bar here enters into, and you have a little track here that has developed over time. And you can see here the marking for the blade, which is 14C28N. Alright, let's start putting this together. Start on this side. Alright, it's pretty straightforward. Let's put a little bit of oil on the pivot, just to help reduce the friction a little bit. Yeah. Okay, now all I gotta do now is figure out which side of this goes into here and which side doesn't. They seem to be pretty identical on both sides, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Okay, let's loop that up. Now the oil I'm using is just basic mineral oil. Mineral oil is great for, it's a very light oil, so it might not be the best for lubing knives, but it is also very it really helps with corrosion resistance, which living in, well, hot and humid Malaysia, you probably need something like that more than let's say complete edge retention. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to turn this pivot around, sorry, that's T6, to get it lined up with the D shape in this pivot right here, something like that. D shape is at the bottom. Oops. Alright. Let's put this here. I almost forgot about this. Add a bit of lube there. Add a bit of oil there. Put this baby in. Oh yeah. Swirl that around. Alright, so that's settled. Next up, on this side, I'm gonna add a little bit of lube on the detent ball. Always good. Make it as fall shutty as possible. Okay, now we gotta align the D-shaped pivot. Alright, and everything's, oh, I'm forgetting the stop pin. Like so. Shouldered stop pin makes it easier to put it in. And everything's in so far, except here. Hold on. Okay, this is always the tricky part, lining everything up and hoping that they enter the respective holes. There we go. So what I did there was I just pushed this down a little bit, the lock bar, then just release some tension, and then these pieces here just snapped into place. Alright, so now I'm just gonna add a little bit of Loctite to my screws here. You can put a lot of Loctite in, and then they still get loose over some time. Sometimes the tolerances are not as tight as they should be. So I'm just gonna put a little bit, see if it works here. Tighten that up, and then a little bit more Loctite for the back screws here. Switch to T6. Alright, and then we should be good to go. Oops. Ooh, wow. No up and down, no side to side, which is great. Sorry, disengage the lock bar, see if it drops. Okay, it's getting there. Definitely better than just now. Let's see if we can back up the pivot a little bit. Maybe get a little bit more of a smoother action. Centering is just as good as it was before, just a little bit off, maybe about 10% on one side, but it is not touching the scales, which is important. Still no play. It drops. Could possibly loosen this up a little bit more. Okay, there is now a bit of play. Let's tighten this up just a little bit again. No play. Drops well. No side to side. No up and down. Disengages fine. Drops fine. Alright, so that was the disassembly of the Ruike P801. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out my description box down below, because I have my Patreon account where you can go and support the channel, and I can bring amazing gear to the channel like this guy right here. So yeah, remember guys, stay ready.